I know, right?
Yeah, I
It's
told you.
see a face, especially when everyone's been trapped in the house for, a while and everyone's working from home. So it's good to see that there's real human beings, right, through Zoom as much as we can. But some of you guys already know me. So I see Hobby Millionaires are already on this meeting as well. You guys have tuned in. That's awesome. And for those who haven't met me before, hopefully it's okay that I kind of tell you a little bit about myself. Um, my name is Bonnie Laszlo, also known as the Real Estate Hobby Millionaire. I've been doing real estate, as a hobby since 25 years ago, whenever I was in college. So I pretty much found my passion in real estate pretty early. So I was able to become financially free at 23 and first million at 26. So, I want to, answer questions that you guys might have, as well as let you know what my journey kind of looked like. So you can either follow in the footsteps or jump in or tweak things out so that you guys can get from A to B as well. And everyone who knows me, I have a quote to the world, which is time is valuable, teams are best, use them both wisely, and I'll show you success, right? And there's a lot of team members that are on the call as well on the Zoom call. So I want to make sure that they're acknowledged because they are a part of what I do. And we do it together, we work together, we've done things together, and we learn together and meet, on a regular basis. And everyone is contributing to this because these are cooperative business spaces, guys. And whenever I used to speak at RIA clubs and I would ask people, I would be like, hey, raise your hand, who's actually done a deal with each other, in this room. And it was like crickets. And it was amazing because I'm just like, there's over 100 people in this room and not one of you guys have ever done a deal with each other or partnered up or utilized, as study partners or just something to get a deal done. And so we kind of started making the Hobby Millionaire group like a cooperative business space where everyone can understand that that's what I expect, right? So I expect you guys to scout for each other. We work on connecting each other with whatever it is that we're looking for. And I get you guys really clear because I'm always asking you, what are you currently up to and what are you looking for in the next 30 days? So that's something that's always going to be very important for you to focus on, especially going through this process. And whenever I first started doing this, right, I went to college and everything. And honestly, guys, I could not make my rent. So I was there on scholarship and, trying to work at the same time too. But, maybe I was a poor money manager back then. I don't know, but I could not make my rent money. And it was $250 a month at the time. And I remember having to ask parents, for money once in a while and stuff, hated doing that. And also I stumbled upon, guess who? Carlton Sheets no payment method. Okay.
Probably cassette tape.
Yeah. You guys remember, who remembers Carlton Sheets?
I know. Have one down here.
I know Carlton Sheets no down payment method, the late night infomercial. So I am that 3% who bought his program, and I am the 1% who actually opened it. Okay. So it works. That's all I've got to say, because I actually did Carlton Sheets no down payment method and did his program. I have also done obviously Trump University and like I've spent 6 years. You name it, Bonnie Laszlo has done it. It's on my bookshelf somewhere. Okay. So there's 1,000,001 different, paths you can take to get to, the end of the rainbow of real estate investing. But I will say, I started out with Carlton Sheets. I started out with the motivation of not being able to make my rent. And then I did get into a position where I was renting out the rooms in my condo. So it was a 4-bedroom, 4-bath kitty condo, as they call it. So I was living in one of the rooms and renting out the rest. And then continued to do that with houses too. So I would, live in the master bedroom and rent out the rest of the bedrooms to cover my mortgage. And then I remember getting into this and I was like, oh, well, I need to have a car at some point. And so I looked at what that monthly payment was. And I kind of, always told myself, okay, well, I need to buy 3 more houses in order to be able to get that car, or I needed to, do another house or something to be able to go on that vacation or to get, one thing or another. But the ugly matter of my first deals comes from, let's say, the ugly house business. So I had to clean those nasty houses. I had to paint those nasty houses. And my pitch, honestly, as a college student, like I had to get older people to join me to go look at property so that they would think that the other person was the buyer. And then I had to pretty much, my pitch was like, look, I can't make this house any worse, right? Because it's like practically boarded up and nothing's really, been done to it and everything. So I did go to Home Depot classes and Lowe's classes on the weekends because we didn't have the virtue of YouTube at the time, like everyone has today as much.
Why?
But
I love her. I did the same thing.
I know, because I mean, it was like, how am I going to tile something? What's, what am I gonna do here? Okay. And I'm like reading those instructions on how to install a flapper on the toilet. And here's the thing. It was very lucky that it was a 4-bedroom, 4-bath condo, because I would go and look at the other bathrooms to see what was wrong with the broken toilet. So I would pretty much play process of elimination. And then I would grab whatever the broken part was and show up at, Lowe's and be like, I need one of these. And I don't even know, but I know where it goes because I'm matching up what looks broken compared to the other 3 in the house. So just know, guys, the program that I use, I used options a lot whenever I was first getting into this, and then owner finance as well. Just like I said, I can't make this house any worse. So I actually, got a credit card because in college, guess what? For M&Ms or a umbrella or something, you pretty much could get a credit card because they're always trying to get you to sign up for a bunch of them. And I use that credit card to actually buy the paint, buy the cleaning supplies and stuff like that. And then also, whenever I was under contract with the house, and by the way, back in the day, I did use a real estate agent to help me out because I was so young. So it just depends on what, situation you're in, but no one would take, this young college student girl seriously. So I had to have obviously an agent be a helpful go-between, and then work on submitting offers and deals that are going to be, advantageous. But that's pretty much how I started it out. And then I did end up realizing that I loved real estate. I loved looking at those houses. It's like, a Christmas present, because every time you open up that door, you never know what you're going to find. For instance, today we opened up a door of an eviction and it was hellaciously horrific. Okay. So we went in there, we're like, okay, that's a new bathroom, that's a new kitchen. And then you walk into some other ones and you're like, wow, this is a really good deal. I need to get this one under contract and move forward, get a partner if I have to. And in the beginning, I did use partners. I used lots of partners, to be able to help me get from A to B, or for us to do it together just to stay motivated. But, everyone's going to have a different starting point. Mm-hmm. And whenever I did realize I was going to be in real estate forever, I went ahead and I got a job as a leasing agent, because I could study while I was sitting inside of those models waiting for somebody to come show up to show them the place. And I was getting paid to learn. So if you are really serious about real estate investing, I highly recommend that you, get paid to learn if you can. Get yourself into a position where you're working in some type of real estate industry if you can. But hey, if you guys are at a good, job that's paying you really well and you just want to do it on the side as a hobby, you can do that too. But I found it very helpful to go to that apartment complex every day and pretend like I owned it. So I would go there, and whenever we got audited, when it was time to do accounting at the end of the year and all that kind of good stuff, I used that apartment complex as auditors to do my W-2 taxes. Because I'm like, hey, if the owners of this apartment complex are happy with this, CPA firm or these, accountant people, hey, it's good enough for me. I mean, they were flying in on helicopters and stuff to, come see their properties. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to recreate the wheel. So I pretty much just followed the leader on everything. So if anybody was actually walking the walk and had the receipts to show me how to do it, that's pretty much, what I pretty much did. Now, whenever I ended up going to that apartment complex, I mastered the leasing agent skill set. And then I went on to mastering what the assistant manager would do. and then mastering what the property manager would do. And then whenever I had gotten paid to pretty much, I knew that I could run this whole property on my own. You know, I could sit in every single seat on that apartment complex, seat, whether it was property manager all the way down to the cleaners. I knew I could do every position, and I understood everybody really well on what their challenges were. And, you know, they could never say, oh, I never did this before, you know. So I just want you guys to understand that you have to have a big enough why, that's for sure. And I hate to break it to you, but if you don't do this, if you don't have a portfolio of at least 5 houses on the side, it's really difficult to retire financially free, especially in today's, you know, atmosphere. You know, it's very important for everybody. You know, inside my book, I tell you guys, you know, try to do 5 units a year, do at least 5 units, because that's an extra $1,000 a month that's going to be coming in. And that's when the light bulbs come off. Okay. So for every, you know, 5 units you have, you should have an extra $1,000 coming into you. And that's also going to, you know, give you the opportunity to actually, you know, borrow more money.
So you want to make like 200 extra, 200 off on top of everything being paid off of
You
each.
got it. You need to have a minimum of a $200 benchmark or higher. Otherwise you don't touch it.
Got it.
Yeah. And I tell everyone, you have a $200 benchmark and then a 10 cap. If anyone knows what a 10 cap is, or you can kind of Google it to figure out what that looks like. But you pretty much buy everything at a $200 benchmark or higher, or a 10 cap, you know, to make sure that you're, you know, in a position where if you ever needed to, you'd be able to liquidate it in 30 days. So if anyone got sick or you had some type of issue, it would be in your, you know, benefit to do it this way, because then you'd always be able to liquidate pretty quickly if you needed to.
Hopefully, now, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of anyone who, you know, my formula, which is $200 benchmark and a 10 cap, has always been, you know, the go-to. And if it doesn't meet that, then we just don't do it. And don't be afraid to renovate things, because renovation, if you can learn the aspect of renovation, you have learned $1 million skill. Okay. Because nobody wants to do it. If you know how to renovate, and and you're willing to get your hands dirty, and you're willing to be there to watch and learn and make sure things are going properly, even if you don't know what's going on, just being there, you're going to save yourself a lot of money and heartache, because it'll be less likely that you're probably going to get screwed over. And unfortunately, guys, you know, you're getting into real estate investing, and the rewards are huge, like financial freedom, being able to pretty much, you know, work from the beach, and being able to work from any state, or work from a computer, or pick up and do a deal anywhere you possibly wanted to be. So you live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense, right?
Right.
But don't be afraid to roll up your sleeves. And I understand people think that real estate investing is like, you know, Trump life or something, where, you know, everyone is sitting there doing a whole lot of nothing except counting their money. But you know, if you're property managing and you're active and you're watching your projects and you're on site, guys, and you're learning how to do this faster and faster and faster. So maybe you do like 1 house at a time, and then you're going to end up doing maybe, you know, 3 houses at a time. You know, right now we're in the middle of 14 that we're doing right now. And, you know, we've been averaging probably at least 10 houses a month right now, just with, you know, make readies and renovations and that kind of thing. So whenever I say, you know, get used to renovating things, and don't be scared of foundation problems. Don't be scared of the roof, because a lot of times, guys, you're not really going to be doing it. It's all a phone call. So whether you're calling the painter, or you're calling the plumber, or you're calling the foundation person, you just have to know what you're talking about on the other end. So watch YouTube videos, you know, watch how it's done, and you're going to be like, oh, you know, that's a lot more simple than I had thought it would be. So, you know, it's one of those things where everybody is going to, you know, definitely have some bumps in the road. You're going to have tenants that you're going to have to evict. You may get sued along the way. You may have contractors that run off with your money. But let me tell you what, okay? It is worth it in the long run, because those things are just parts that come with the business. There's a system to follow. There's an exact way of handling these things, because this is going to really change your life and the life of your family and anyone else that you will let look over your shoulder. Because there's so many investors who keep this too close to the chest. They don't want anyone to see what they're doing. They don't want to, you know, educate competitors in their market and all that kind of stuff. And there's plenty for everyone, I promise, guys. And it works out as long as you're, you know, walking the walk. You make the offers if you want deals. Because I hear people are always saying, I can't find deals, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, how many offers did you make? And, you know, obviously there's the problem, right? And if anyone is scared about, oh, there's too much work here, well, then have a contractor go out there and get bids and stuff, or find out how much that stuff costs and say, hey, you know, we only pay $3,000 to get a roof done. Who is available that can do it now in between their retail roofs, right? Because although people may charge $15,000, $10,000 to do a roof, they may be able to squeeze you in on their downtime because you're giving them, you know, something to fill in, or you're giving them something that has a little bit of leeway time. It's not something that really needs to be done right now. And I explain it to them. I'm like, even the HVAC guys, they're all licensed, the plumbers too. I'm like, look, I totally understand if you're doing your retail projects, but guess what? I've got a stack of tickets here that I'm going to give you that you can work in between your stuff, you know, and, you know, give us a bulk rate price. And that's going to save you a lot of money too. Right?
Yep.
Do you have a specific question or anything that we wanted to kind of go in, you know, about things? I know I'm kind of rambling about just generalities, but does anyone have anything specific or anything you want me to talk about? Because I can talk to you about everything under the sun.
Yeah, I know. That's why we love having you here. Let me see. I know pretty much mostly a lot of people, besides there's
Matt asked, how long do you keep rental properties on average?
That's a great question. Okay. So everyone asked me this question. Now, this is my answer. I am not going to expect you to wait a decade or 10 years to collect rent to be able to get that money you can get today. Okay. So it's up to you, but definitely if you can get 10 years worth of rental money, whatever you're clearing and stuff, remember how I was saying like $200 benchmark, right?
Yep.
So if it's $200 and let's say we're just getting 2,000 a year on it, right? So if you're pretty much going to, you know, do this for, you know, 10 years, it's 20 grand. So I want you to understand that you're going to sell it and you're going to buy 2 more. So anything that you're going to do like that, it's up to you, because some markets are like 5 years, some are 10. So if you're comfortable and you can bank some money to where you can reinvest that money into 2 others, you're going to sell that property that pretty much has about, you know, 10 years worth of rental profits, let's say, in it, and you're going to sell it off, and then you're going to reinvest it and buy 2 more. And that just depends on, you know, what stage in real estate investing you're in. If you're not in growth phase anymore, then you don't need to be as aggressive. But if you're, you know, kicking back and you're at the end of your, you know, investing career, and you just want to kick back and loan money, or you just want to kick back and have pretty houses, you know, you can do that too. But I will tell you this. So Curtis is on the line too, and Adina's here, and Patrick's here. You know, we bought properties where we bought a 100-house package of properties, and we got them for $20,000 a piece for vacant ones and $29,000 a piece for the occupied ones. Okay. So when you're buying a package of 100 houses and you're getting them that cheap, right?
Right.
I don't understand why people are paying $200,000 for a rental house. That is not the rental house business. You should be in multifamily if it comes to that. Yep. Because, you know, anyone who's going to spend over $100,000 on a piece of property, you need to be in multifamily, and you need to keep it to where it's $100,000 or below so that you can stay in growth mode. Because I'm sorry, those friends of mine that said, oh yeah, come, you know, look at my rental properties, they're cash flowing. Just because you bought it for $1 million and you're renting it out for $100 a month does not mean it's cash flowing. Okay. So, and they're like, I bought it all cash and I'm cash flowing it every month. I'm like, that's like the lowest cap rate on the planet. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're doing, but that's not like optimizing your portfolio and stuff. For, you know, these kinds of things, guys, you really need to look at it from a growth perspective, use your money wisely, and spread it thin to win. right now the interest rates are so low right now. I want you to understand, this is a COVID miracle here. You are never going to see this ever again. Okay. These are like, the lowest rates known to man at the moment. And for those new people that are getting into NACA loans and everything, that's the cheapest money on the streets. Okay. So, for anyone that's new getting into that, you can buy a quadruplex and everything. No money down, no down payment. Interest rates are, 2% or something, really low. I mean, it's great. So everyone right now should be buying. I know people are kind of holding back just because of the atmosphere, but remember, like I've been through 2000, I've been through 2008, I've been through all kinds of weirdness, 9/11, COVID, whatever. It's all going to happen. There's going to be some other funky thing in the future too. But while everybody is hiding under a rock, guess what we're doing? We're scooping it all up, okay? We're doing our stuff, because all those people who are scared and hiding under a rock, okay, you have to still live, guys. Otherwise you're already dead, right? So figure out how you want to, handle this. But, I'm here to live. I'm here to take, calculated risk with real estate. And I've successfully been able to do this full time for most of my life. And, anybody can do this. Everyone's been watching over my shoulder, and I do the same things over and over again now for, 25 years. And everyone's like, oh, but Bonnie, you look young. I said, this is what happiness looks like. Yeah. I didn't have to go to that, job for a zillion years and stuff. And I always tell people too, when you're at your job and you're drinking that first cup of coffee in the morning, when you're up at 7 and you don't want to be, because you want to be sleeping in, think of me. And every time I was there drinking that cup of coffee, I'm just like, I got to buy more houses. I got to buy more houses. Or I'm pissed off at someone that's in that office. I'm like, I got to buy more houses. And so I kind of just mentally brainwashed myself as well. With
Way to do it.
I know. And guys, like I said, I stick to 100,000 and below, and I love them even better if they're $50,000 and below on houses. And I haven't had a challenge with finding those all of these years. It's been pretty easy. And remember, you live where you want to live, but you invest where it makes sense. So if you are living in, Beverly Hills, yeah, you're not investing there. That's not rental properties. Okay. You can invest where it makes sense, and you get yourself a property management company. Simple as that. People are doing that, right? But a lot of people are kind of hooked on, making sure their portfolio looks like things they would live in. Guys, you are not going to be living in these houses. You're going to provide safe, affordable living, that everything looks nice. It's really good for, the average person, that you're going to make sure that they, come home and have everything that's working and it's nice, and you're going to do your best to keep your tenants as long as you can, right? And especially right now, yeah, we're going through this COVID thing too. You have to understand, how to help people out with their assistance programs and stuff. We've been very successful in getting, tens of thousands of dollars in assistance program money for our tenants, with our tenants. Why? Because we're, problem solvers, right? We know how to help them out. We know how to help do the applications. We know how to coach them and tell them, hey, go here, go to this one, call this phone number, go ask these people. And as long as people are willing to take, those steps, we've been very fortunate where, evictions have been very small with having to do. But another factor too, I know all this kind of stuff that's going on in today's market. I just want everyone to realize that it's not time to scale back. And just so you have an idea, I told everyone now, we've got over 9 million people right now in forbearance. You know what that means?
Money.
That's like the land of the owner financing comes back. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this stuff. I'm like, hey, I understand what's backing up. I understand when they finally lift the curtain and let, the foreclosures fly. It is going to be what it is. You guys want to make sure you have the money ready to go. You have the knowledge ready to go. You have the friends ready to go. But in the meantime, there's still plenty of deals because everyone's hiding under a rock. Right?
That's one of the things. Here, we have like 80 people going after one deal. They're like crazy. I don't know where these people came from all of a sudden, but like everybody's buying something all of a sudden.
And they're overpaying.
Which is causing issues. So you said you bought at bulk. How did you do that? And how'd you get started in buying in bulk? And what could we do to buy with you?
Great question. We have to be open to sharing. And when Curtis and I did that, and Curtis is always telling everybody too, say it, Curtis.
Yeah, your network is your net worth.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously, I also teach everybody whenever you are making offers on property, you're always asking, do you have any more?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so this particular person started off with having a couple that were on MLS. And then we asked if they had more, and they gave a little bit. And then we figured out who they were, and we realized they had a lot more. And so we asked for all of it. And then that's whenever Curtis comes into my office, and he's like, can I talk to you about something? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, well, I kind of have this opportunity of 100 houses, but I need some help. And I go, what does help look like? He goes, well, I want you to partner in with me. And I'm like, well, what does that look like? And he's like 50-50. I said, all right, let's do it. Because the thing is, Curtis has been to the Hobby Millionaire meetings since day one. He's Gen 1 in the North Carolina market. And then we've also done it over in like Florida and in Texas. And, I've been in Ohio and South Carolina and Georgia, so I've been like all over the place. But he is a person who was showing up to the meetings all the time, contributing, being helpful to people, and taking instruction, right? So whenever, I tell people, make sure it meets the benchmarks, make sure you always ask these things, and see what comes along. And obviously, if any deal is too big for somebody, come talk to us, right? Or if there's something that needs to be done and you don't have time for it, or it's broken, or you're really close to blowing your budget and stuff, and you really need to kind of take it over the finish line without losing any more, like stop the bleeding, like come talk to us, because we're professionals. We've been doing this for a zillion, couple decades, right? And it's, to me, it's, I've gotten up to about 500 units myself. So the onesie twosies and helping out, people going from 1 to 5 houses is kind of what I really love, because you guys eventually, after you get over 5 houses, you don't really need me anymore, right? But the people who are at 0 to having those 5 houses, that's where you really need the help, and you need that helping hand to get you over, the threshold. And after that, you get more confidence, you have some stuff, you got some credibility. And then, yeah, could I go ahead and push, rich friends of mine's money around, all day long, and, do all that kind of stuff and do that kind of real estate investing? Absolutely. And do I do that? Yeah, for some. But, I really like having the startup person coming across the finish line. I really like hearing about, someone, let's say, who's bought their house and they've never heard of the live in it for 2 years and a day and then sell it. And then you get, like, the tax code allows you to take that profit on your home if you live there for 2 years and a day, tax free. And I don't care. And then they always hear me, oh, but I want to get my kids out of the school district or something. I'm like, then move across the street. I don't care where you go. Right? And you move across the street or whatever, or maybe you just don't want it bad enough. It's each person's a little bit different, but you move 3 to 5 times, your house is practically paid off, and you just kind of keep doing that, because, you do that. That's a 10-year plan versus a 30-year plan of paying off your house. Little things like that are going to really get you in the position where you're financially free very quickly. Yes, you could luck into, let's say, stocks, bonds, being a movie star, being a singer, an athlete, all that kind of stuff. But I want you to understand that percentage is like 8% of the population. Over 90% of the millionaires in the world is through real estate. Why would you not play in this game? I mean, it's one of those things you need to know, because think about it. What do doctors do? What do other people do when they make all their money? They get real estate. What do athletes do when they get money? They go get real estate. And there's a difference between being a real estate agent and being a real estate investor. So you have to understand the difference between the two.
The thing is that those doctors and some of those, well, you can't say all singers and actors, because there is like the exception, like Vanilla Ice. He is doing the $1 million homes.
Yeah.
But some of them don't know. And I've gotten my best deals from doctors that had no idea what they were doing. And they had to stop their bleeding, and it was my gain.
Yes, absolutely.
So
So we have, Matt had a couple other questions. First, his second question was, how often do you refi and reinvest? And his third was, aside from selling outright or doing 1031, do you do any other exit strategies?
Yes, great questions. I love it. Okay, guys. So here's the thing. So instead of selling properties and having to pay taxes on that money, what you're going to do instead is you're going to refinance that particular property, and you're going to take that, 50,000 or 100,000, or maybe it's per deal. Maybe it's, you're going to refinance and you get $20,000 out of this one, $30,000 out of that one. But remember, when you do a cash out refinance, or when you refinance, those funds are a loan, right? So you're not paying taxes on it. So you get to keep the house, and you also get to have the money too, to then be able to reinvest or to live on. So that's kind of going to help shelter some of your income. But if those of you that are still working like a W-2 job, just make sure that you're using your W-2 job to live on. Don't touch any of your real estate money, because I know that it's very tempting. Because let's say that you're making $50,000 at your W-2, and then you start making $50,000, a year out of your, your portfolio. Now you're used to $100,000 lifestyle, right? Like, I don't want you guys to do that, because I want you to be very, frugal until you actually get financially free, to where you're actually going to use refinance money as your income versus, doing the ordinary income and having to sell it and pay short-term capital gains and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But if you have to do it, you have to do it. That's fine. But I just want you to know what you're going to strive, to get towards, because it's going to be very important with your growth methods in the future. And then with exit strategies too, guys, hey, you need some money, the lease option.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I have taken, like during 2008 and stuff, the lease option. They want to get out of their house because they're underwater or whatever, and they haven't paid the bank for a year. We took $15,000 down on lease options, and took that $15,000, and then they were able to move into a different house. And then we pretty much either rented their house or fixed their house to, sell it, rent it, keep it, whatever you want to do, or release option it out too. So you guys can do it that way.
Do you do seller financing to other people yourself of your properties?
We do, in a different way. We use trusts. So I don't know how well versed you guys are in trusts, because there is a way, and I'm not going to, give legal advice because I'm not an attorney. Okay. But I will tell you this, you guys should learn trust, because whenever, I kind of learned about, was it President Kennedy? Something happened. Someone drove off of a bridge and someone died and everything was A-okay kind of thing. Like, you guys need to learn what that structure is. Okay. Because whenever you have trusts involved, and let's say you put that vehicle into a trust and something happens, well, the only thing in that particular trust is now a, destroyed vehicle, right?
Right.
And you kind of can put your properties in different trusts, and you can have different structures. You can have trust stacking, LLC stacking, LLCs and trusts owning each other. You got all this like lovely stuff you can learn about.
Oh yeah.
With planning. Yeah, this
That's
that's
another topic.
conversation.
Yeah.
to talk
We'll have
about,
to come back another day for that.
That's
But
another night.
if you do owner financing, I highly recommend, in my opinion, that you do it through a trust, so that you can then give people options on beneficial interest and stuff like that, because it's now personal property. It's like you just pretty much owner finance them a refrigerator. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not real estate itself to where you'd have to do foreclosure stuff. It's more of a demand letter, and your attorneys who do this estate planning and stuff can easily obtain those beneficial interests back, or house, power of attorney and stuff for you for stuff like that. Because you can even have, verbiage in whatever documents you're doing, where if for some reason, X amount of payments are not made and stuff, that this particular, option vaporizes. Right?
Yeah. True. Are all your houses is it just single family houses, duplex, quadplex, or do you have like bigger apartment complexes?
So I started off with houses. So when I started off with like the condo thing, and where I was living in one and renting out the other ones while I was going to college. And then I started getting houses and doing the same exact thing. And then from the houses turned into like a quadruplex or multiple houses. And then I ended up buying an 8-unit apartment building. And I remember the appraiser was like, "What are you doing?" Because it had barbed wire fencing around it. Okay.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And then I ended up doing a 30-something unit apartment, complex. And then I ended up doing some 100 units, and I ended up doing like over 150 unit apartment complex that actually had a HAP contract on it. So HUD was depositing monies that were going directly, into our bank account and everything, to the tune of like $32,000 or something every single month.
Nice.
So, yep. So that we did some of those types of things. But yeah, like I said, I got up to 500 units myself, but I really right now, I love at least the market that's in the Carolinas right now, in North Carolina, and also in Florida, because of course, we're in Florida, we're homesteaded there, but we also, have a secondary up in North Carolina. And I liquidated some assets in Florida because you can purchase houses for, like you said, like the $20,000, $30,000 a house. Who's not going to liquidate, stuff in Florida to go buy 2 to 3 more houses over in a different state, right? So with those particular, numbers, that's pretty much what determines where I go. Like I said, you live where you want to live, but you invest where it makes sense. And, that's, I'm not going to, kick back and play golf every day or something because I love real estate, but I love the numbers. And whenever you find houses that are the same price per unit as an apartment complex, you should be buying houses. Right. And then when your market turns to where you can't get a house under $100,000, then you get into multifamily in that area, if that makes sense.
So like a 97 per unit is pretty kind of calculated out. It's a decent deal then, because it's still under the 100.
Yeah, if it's that, and then you can rent it out for about $1,200. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what somebody was asking. What if you have a 200K single family home that is cash flowing at $200 a month?
So if it's a $200,000 single family house, you should be getting a minimum of $2,400 a month, because the $200 benchmark is per 100,000.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's about the.
I don't know. So how much is that $200,000 property rented for? Is it over $2,400 a month?
I don't know, John.
Well, with the market the way it is, I mean, mortgages payments are pretty low. I think.
Yes.
Like
so
300, you'd be paying.
So he's saying no,
cheap
John.
Right now.
John M asked the question. John M is saying yes to your question.
Yes, he's making, I guess, $2,400.
Well, I guess it's renting at $2,400 a month or more, so he's getting $200 cash flow. But
it should be getting more than that if he's at $2,400, because the main thing is just if you're spreading your 100,000 out. Like I'd much rather you have, like, say, 2 $100,000 houses that rent out for $1,200 to $1,500 a month, right? Because that's going to bring you in $2,400 to $3,000. Versus a $200,000 house with, let's say, a $200 mortgage, but you're renting it for, $1,500 a month.
So do you have a price point?
That's the difference between bringing in $1,500 a month or $3,000 a month.
Do you have a price point for cash flow per door that you go by?
You have to have a minimum of $200 benchmark per door, right? Or higher. That's what you can have. But you should be at a 10 cap. And so you have to calculate the 10 cap, because there's a thing called, so obviously if you have a W-2, Uncle Sam takes money out of your paycheck, right?
Yep. Always.
So I explain to people, Uncle Sam has a brother. His name is Uncle Tim. Uncle Tim is the person who takes money out of the investor's paycheck, okay? Out of your rents and stuff. So Uncle Tim stands for utilities, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, okay? So once you've calculated taking out Tim, Uncle Tim, out of all of your calculations and stuff, and then you take out your debt service, your mortgage, you should have obviously a minimum of a $200 or more cash flow coming in. But would I rather you have 4 houses at 50,000 a pop, bringing in, close to 1,000 versus 1 house at 200, bringing in, $2,000? Yeah, I would, because now you have 4 houses that are going up in value versus 1 house.
Right. Less risk.
Yeah. And it's, and not saying that you can't do it, you can, but I'm just saying that it's not getting you from A to B as fast as as your money could.
Right. Okay, we have Manu. I think I said that right. Manu said, I am looking to buy my first multifamily. I am nervous to buy in another state. He's only looking in Massachusetts. So
Okay.
I guess that's his question. He's nervous to buy in another state.
So nervous equals fear, right? But money is confidence, right? So what I would say is look for a multifamily property that is already under property management, that has a track record, that's cash flowing. Because unless you're planning on being a property manager, I mean, are you gonna manage a multifamily, in Massachusetts? I mean, I don't know what you do for a living, right? But I would say, your first one, maybe find one that is a no-brainer. I mean, you can find multifamily deals, you can get a duplex for 100,000. You can get, a quadruplex very nominally, where you're definitely well under 100,000 per unit. Or maybe try one, $100,000 house with a property management company that's in an area where you might want that apartment complex. So, like I said, you guys have to really get over that hurdle of, you can live where you want to live, but you really need to invest where it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like our clients too, a lot of them are from California, from New York, from out of state. And they come to us because, I'm the one that's pretty much going to, I'm going to follow the money, so I'm going to, I'm not, old and gray right now. I can still go out and go do things, but, it's just a system, guys. Everyone's doing it. Think of the other millionaires. Are they, doing real estate investing? Are they running everything? No, they're not. And so if you can find one that's already under management, just keep the ball rolling, just transition hands with somebody else, just get that confidence level, get that track record, get that due diligence done, and, make sure, and look at this, and buy right, because what if you don't like it? Then you can easily liquidate it, get your money back, and move on.
Right.
Yeah, even if you break even, it gets you the experience of going through the whole process. And
absolutely. But normally you're going to look at it and because look, the bank's not going to give you money unless it's making money. Okay. So I think you should be pretty safe in that regard of it, and if you're not sure of an area, then instead of buying something for cash, let's say, maybe you're not ready to do a cash deal, because you want someone to look over your shoulder, the bank or hard money lender or whoever it might be. Well, then do it that way so that you can get that comfort level done, and you're sharing risk with the bank.
So if you had an opportunity to buy a property and because it was assignable from the bank itself, assumable, would that be one way to take your first step?
Sure. As long as the numbers work, I tell people, go ahead and move forward and buy, because I mean, it's going to be one of those situations where, whether you're taking things over from sellers because they just don't want to, landlord anymore, or you're buying from a seller who, it was an estate and they inherited it and they just want to, be done with it, or someone gets sick, or someone's just tired, or someone has too much and just wants to live the life. You don't know what the situation is, but as long as the numbers work and you're making money, I don't care if it's like $200 a month or it's $1,000 a month, or it's $10,000 a month. It's all a numbers game. Wealthy people understand numbers. And remember this, you can always sell cash flow. So even the people who are looking to do flip deals, that's fine. Just do a flip deal that meets the benchmarks. Because if your flip turns out crappy, then you can put a tenant in there and you can sell it as a cash flowing rental property, right?
Very true.
That's like your backup plan.
Yep.
And I would tell people too, it's like, if you're going to do a flip property, our team, we went and pretty much flip apartment complexes too. So we bought an apartment complex for like $500,000. We did hard money with it. and we went ahead and did our renovations, and we sold it for, you know, over $1 million. And just realize you're going to do the same exact thing. So whether it was a 20 unit, it's like buying 20 houses. Okay. So just evaluate everything just as if it were its own house. And once you're perfected on the house, you know, fixing and stuff like that and making it ready. And the more you watch the YouTube videos, the more you watch it happening, the more you look over someone else's shoulder, the more comfortable you're going to be with it. And then you can move on to flipping apartment complexes. And once you start flipping apartment complexes, the money's real good.
I was gonna say, how did you like find a system or like to be able to like run the numbers to underwrite it to see if it is a good deal? Where did you start with that, or just from being at the place?
It's always been $200 benchmark and above and a 10 cap. I don't know if I learned that from Carlton Sheets maybe, but I just know that that is the magic number where if I got into a bind, that I could always sell it, I can always make money on it, and it's a conservative piece of property to invest in because, you know, all this hard work and effort that, you know, I've put into doing this, I don't want to lose it all. And so I don't want to go and do stupid deals where, you know, I'm renovating $1 million, you know, beachfront property or something like that. And, you know, COVID hits, and then I'm staring at this humongous mortgage every month. You know, because remember, you're spreading your money thin to win. If you want to buy things for cash and do that stuff, but I've noticed when you buy things for cash, including myself, I get lazy. But when I see that mortgage payment happening, or when I see that hard money payment happening, it's almost like a game, you know, it's like, I can hurry up and get this thing done, you know, because it puts a fire under you.
Yeah.
And remember, hard money lenders too aren't going to lend to you unless the deal is a good deal. And even if you're going to keep the property, you can use hard money, make sure that they make sure they do the draws, all that kind of stuff. And then whenever it's done, you can get longer term financing and keep it as a rental property at that point too.
Right.
So with hard money though, a lot of people are very scared to go hard money, especially on something, you know, bigger.
Yeah.
What kind of like terms or things, you know, for people that are new with that's never used hard money, what did they like say to you, throw at you that might have scared you away from them or brought you to them?
So obviously the scary aspect of it is the money's due in 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You know, and it's like, I want you guys to be scared. Like, I don't want you to look at this as being a hobby that you can just nonchalantly, you know, start and never finish. I mean, 6 months, that's a long ass time. Okay. You can get that done. I think 6 months should be pretty, you know, standard. If that's your only focus and that's your only project, and you're there every day and you're babying it and you're watching it, maybe you're painting alongside the painter, maybe you're the helping hand with the carpenters, maybe you're, you know, you're kind of checking in on it on a regular basis, at least on the weekends, right? Or after work. You can get it done in that period of time. And that magic, it's due in 6 months, should be scary to you. But I do want you to look to see if there's an extension clause in there where you pay a couple points and you can extend it out, or you have one extension to extend it out another 6 months or another 3 months or something, so that, you know, in case something does happen, you don't, you know, lose the whole deal, right? And then it's kind of good sometimes if you guys get partners, right? So you're not the one man show. And as I say, you know, time is valuable, teams are best, use them wisely, I'll show you success, that kind of thing. You know, if I get hit by a bus, my team can go ahead and finish things out. You know what I mean? Like they know how to do that kind of stuff, or they know how to call upon somebody else that would. And another thing with hard money lending, I think that might scare people, is 15% interest.
Whoa, yo,
Oh, back in the day.
back up, back up. I hope that still ain't happening.
10% interest, yes. But understand this, guys, 15% interest is less than 50% with a partner.
Right. And besides that, if you're doing it in 6 months,
Yeah.
it's not 15%.
So just kind of look at that kind of thing too. It depends on how comfortable you are, but in the beginning, if you need to do something with someone and you want to do hard money, because hard money will look after that deal to make sure that obviously there's money there in case they get it back. But I would say that the interest rate scares people, the short fuse scares people. The thing I like about hard
we froze again.
The thing that I like about hard money, I'll give you the honest truth, is they can close in 7 days. And
Yes.
especially whenever you have a track record and you know what you're talking about and you can verbally say something to someone, like I can even talk to private money or I can talk to hard money and say, look, here's what the numbers look like. Here's the portfolio of houses we've done. We've got paid off houses as collateral. Here's money that you have, available. Fund it in 3 days. You know what I mean? Because anyone who's wealthy can do the due diligence, can talk to the closing attorneys, can look on public record and see what is being said is true. You have to know how to package that together, right? So with a hard money lender, you're going to do the exact same thing. And when you go through the first time, then you're going to do it the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and you're going to develop that relationship with that hard money lender to where it's going to be very easy for you to pretty much, get a lower interest rate with them and get the money faster.
With hard money, because I know when we borrowed, we actually borrowed the extra to make the monthly payments.
Yes.
Would you suggest that, or
yeah.
do you think having it on reserve?
Absolutely. We've done pretty much no payments due until the end of the loan. You can push it to the end.
I like that better.
Yeah. And you can, because otherwise they're like, then I'd have to find another place to, put the money. Remember, money is confidence, guys. If you have a scope of work, you have you got 3 levels of contractors deep on each trade. Okay. You have, done this before, you've got a track record and stuff. You should be able to get, 100% financing. They do all of the renovation stuff for you. And they postpone the payments until you're done. But in the beginning, I do like you having that monthly payment because it's a reminder to put a fire under your, behind so that you get it done faster.
Right. Put a camera crew on it too, and that'll do it to you too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they're done that once.
Accountability. I think accountability is a big thing.
Yes.
It puts pressure on you to make you more successful because you're being held accountable, not only just by a money person, but other means, so if you don't want to fail.
Yeah.
So
nobody does.
Remember, these are your track records. And when you're doing these, document everything, and make sure that people are, that you're in good communication with your hard money lender to let them know what's going on. And, I think that, more communication is better, even if it's a simple email, just so they hear from you. Because remember, you're looking to build a lifelong relationship. You're looking to connect with people. Like in this group right now, like everyone's doing this, this is, you're not going to just meet each other tonight and never see each other again. You're going to be on these calls. You're going to see each other in the field. You could be helping each other out, connecting with lenders, connecting with resources, asking each other, hey, who's the lender that we haven't blackballed this week? So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
hey, you did business with this person. You're gonna have a lot of third-party credibility going on, and you just want to make sure that you guys keep that cooperative business space alive and clean, and keep a very clean space. And if there are challenges going on, talk about those challenges so everyone can learn from them and everyone knows how to maneuver through them. Because if you guys have a problem that pops up, someone's got taken for a ride from a contractor, it's month 5. And they're not totally done, like everyone can help and jump in and at least emotional support, give guidance to say, okay, this is how we're going to get it done in 30 days. Right.
Right.
That's what we like to do. We help other investors, people who are new, even some experience who run into a problem.
Yeah.
If they're new ones and they are iffy with contractors, ask us how to find them, or we send our contractors there to help you get it done so it's done right, and you can work with them and talk with them. So really, like what you says, I'm not going to hold them captive. Oh, they're all mine.
Yeah.
No, everybody's got to eat.
If you need contractors, and this is the way I teach everybody, any state, any city, if I need a plumber, I'm going to go stand in the plumbing aisle of Home Depot and Lowe's until one shows up. Okay. So people go to Lowe's and Home Depot to shop for supplies. I go there at the contractor pro desk in the morning, okay, when they're getting all their supplies and everything, and I'm shopping for contractors. So if I come in, like if I were to come to New Jersey and I wanted to do a project, I would probably spend a couple of days at Lowe's and Home Depot stalking people out, getting my team together, getting quotes out. I know how much things, work out flat rate with what we do. And, you can find contractors that way. You can also get them off of Facebook. You can get them, off of a multitude of different ways. And especially the groups, the real estate groups, ask, hey, who's the painter of the week, who's available, who can do it for this price, and, see who comes along to get it done for you.
That works. My uncle taught me one thing though, when looking for contractors, which I just want to share with everybody. You're absolutely go to Home Depot and Lowe's, but go there in the afternoon or late morning and see which contractors you don't want to hire, because they should have had their supplies and been on the job already.
Yeah. Another way is if you go in the evening, because those are the guys who are done for the day, picking up the supplies for the next day. So you can do it first thing in the morning or in the evening, like right before the store closes.
I used to meet my guys at the pro desk in the morning because I wanted to make sure they were getting supplies by 9 o'clock. And we still have our supply runs right now are between 9 and 10 o'clock, because they can be on the job site at 8, assessing what they need or talking with tenants or whoever, and get the list together, be shopping at 8:30, get their stuff together, be in the line, between 9 and 10, and check them out. And we use Home Depot and the text to confirm method, right? So I can see everything they're buying. I can make sure I take off the beef jerky and the energy drink and the tools. So can't be buying those on our account. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, but I mean, those are the systems that you're going to want to use. Text to confirm with Home Depot for me has been wonderful compared to Lowe's, where they just weren't sending receipts over to us. So that method has been a godsend. And shopping for contractors that way, you can do it in any state, anywhere. And, I mean, and making sure that you get your prices down so you don't get taken for a ride.
Yeah. Lowe's, we have, actually, if you're a member of Central New Jersey Real Estate Investment Group, when you become our members, we got a deal worked out with Lowe's, and you do get the emails from them, but you get your additional 2% off when your bill comes in on top of your
30.
percentage off when you're at the registers. So that one's we've kind of been working out with them, and they deliver for us. So we just send the order in and they're done.
Yep. My dad used it a lot too, because they give VA discount or VA discounts and stuff like that. So it's really good. And then there's some things obviously that's over at Lowe's that you don't have over, at Home Depot. So I mean, you're going to be using these interchangeably.
Exactly. Oh gosh, no, I forgot what I was going to ask.
All right. Well, somebody put a question. Kelly put a question.
Oh, good.
Best piece of advice for beginners who have minimal amount to invest, and a beginner who has 50K to invest.
Okay. So I would say find someone in your group that is in the middle of a project, and, help them out. Be their little intern, right? Per se. I have a thing called investor support. And so a lot of people are just saying, hey, who's got investor support? What do you have? I'll do your supply runs. I'll go out to the project with you and give you a helping hand. Anything that has to do with what you're wanting to do, you're going to want to find someone that you can help out. Okay. Right. And someone who has $50,000, I would say spread it thin to win. You're going to want to buy maybe like an $80,000 rental property or something in the beginning. And with that, you can spread the money, because 20% down, let's say, so it's 20. So let's just say that you're going to buy 2 of them, right? And then leave the rest of the money in your operating account. So get 2 rental properties, some multifamily if you can, but at least a minimum of 2 if you got 50 grand, and get those ones up and going in the beginning, and buy them with tenants in place. Look for some turnkey rentals. That way you don't have to pretend that, someone's going to say it rents for 1,000 and then you try and do it, and you can only
playing devil's advocate here. So where do they find these deals?
Where you at?
Yeah. Where are you at?
Oh, we're all over. So we're in Florida as well as North Carolina. in South Carolina.
I mean, Kelly was
Kelly
asking.
was asking.
So we're asking Kelly, where are you located? Where are you looking?
No, like where like how does she find deals? Like how does she find deals to invest in?
Oh, find the deals. Okay, great question. Everyone's always asking this. So the deals that I have a class called Offers that I teach people to. It's 3 hours of us doing what? Making offers. That's how you get the deals. So whether it's on MLS, Redfin, Craigslist, between that, for a 3-hour period of time with me, we make offers on things or we look for deals. I always find a deal in 3 hours. Every single time we do this class, we always find deals. I don't know, why people have problems finding deals, but I mean, you can also go to code enforcement, right? Look up anyone who has a code enforcement.
If she wants to deal with like minimum amount of work up front, is like, where does she find like a turnkey rental deal?
There's wholesalers, actually. Have you ever used a wholesaler, Bonnie? Have you ever seen them?
We work with wholesalers too. There's wholesalers, there's real estate agents, they're listed. So pretty much just hook up with an agent, right? And say what you're wanting, and then you go after that. And don't be afraid of doing a little bit of work, because that's where you get a really good deal. So, I mean, I think that everyone can pick up the phone and call a painter. I think everyone can pick up the phone and call a flooring company, right? So, yeah, you can get a turnkey rental with tenants. Then, in MLS, we just pull, there's a box you check, all properties that have leases on them. And then it just pulls up thousands. Okay. And then we're like, okay, so out of all of these, which one looks good? And then you start negotiating and, making offers and stuff. And then I find them everywhere. I mean, you just have to look and make offers on them. But the main thing, obviously, Craigslist, Redfin, MLS, you will find properties that are rented. But I mean, if you're going to real estate clubs like this, online, network, and to say, hey, like, who has, there's a lot of people. If you go to these meetings, there's got to be like a meeting every night. And think there's maybe, let's say there's 10 people on every call or something. So 10 times, 5 every day, and do it for a month. I think you're going to find someone that might want to sell something to you. It's one of those things where, we're constantly, doing meetings. We're constantly at meetings and just finding out what people want, I mean, we're kind of, I don't know, crazy because we love real estate and we like to do this all the time. I did too all night long. Like, it would just be like, hey, it's Friday night. Let's all, just kick back and just turn this into an all-nighter kind of thing. Like, I love real estate that much.
Yeah.
Addicted much?
I'm totally, like, everyone knows. And some of my friends too that spent the weekend with me, we did like a retreat, and they're like, she really doesn't stop, does she?
No. You're like driving down the street. I can fix that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love it. And I'm pricing
on vacation
to everyone's house. I'm pricing out their flooring. I'm pricing out their walls. I'm like, this almost looks like it's accessible beige or mindful gray. Those are the colors we pretty much use. So, I mean, you have to really love it, like it. I don't know. It'll grow on you when you see the money, I think. Whenever you see those rent checks, the first of the month, and all that money comes in. And if you're sick, because I had to have a hip replacement, and at my age and everything, I was like, whoa. But I was so grateful, guys, because the rent checks still come in.
Yeah.
I know. You could rip them up, throw them in the fire pit, and they're there the next month.
I know.
I just don't stop.
It is awesome. And that's the great part about it, guys. I mean, because even if you have a job and you love what you're doing, it's really nice to know that if a COVID happens or, you get sick or something, that those rent checks still come in for you.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to throw at you, because I ask this from time to time from our guests and some of the other people, is, I know you mentioned it before, is you got to know what your why is, right?
I was going to ask.
Have you ever done the why 7 layers deep?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so you've never done it.
So
okay.
we got to play with you another night.
It's really to find out what your true why is and what
my
you're
true
behind
why
it.
is that, honestly, like, my parents grew up fighting about money all the time, right? And I hated hearing that. And then I really like, because I know how to make money with real estate in
Mhm.
almost any market. I've been in a zillion different markets, so I know it's not just like a bubble, you know? And I like to eliminate as much financial suffering from people that I can, because I know that if you guys get 5 properties and you have those rent checks, it will eliminate some financial suffering. And
Mhm.
for you to be financially free enough to know that you always have a place to live and you have enough money to keep the lights on, you know, and something happens, like, and you have food on the table, no matter what, if you do, you know, have some kind of, you know, illness or something, that kind of freedom is worth the price of cleaning a toilet and painting a house and taking a call in the middle of the night. So, you know, all that kind of stuff. My why with all of this has been, you know, I remember what it was like all too well. And I know there's a lot of people that are, you know, kind of getting into the afternoon of their life, right? Where you don't have time to mess up, you know. There's no figuring stuff out. You got to hit an ace in the hole. Otherwise, you could be staring at, you know, a situation where your retirement is pretty bleak, right?
Yeah.
So if you stick to the conservative aspects of 100,000 and below, and making sure things cash flow and doing things conservatively like this, I mean, you're going to win. I mean, there's just no way. I mean, and worst case scenario, if you really suck at property management, then you hire somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I think the key to that statement is also, you don't have to do it in your market. Because
No,
like in our market, you're not finding a deal for under 100,000 in this area.
No, this is Jersey.
You know, we,
doing that. You need to
It
be
is a
moving
war zone.
every 2 years.
Yep.
If your market's like, I don't care, move across the street, listen for someone who's getting a divorce, someone who's sick, someone has to downsize, or some whatever's going on. If your market is that good, where you have that good of appreciation and things are expensive, because you can take up to $250,000 to $500,000 tax free. You need to be moving every 2 years and a day.
Yep.
yeah, you're just not finding 100K or less properties here.
And
No,
just
'cause
think,
imagine if you did no real estate investing except took your $500,000 every 2 years.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Think you could live off of that? I don't know. I mean, if
Oh
you
yeah, why couldn't you? I mean, most people are making how much on their job? You know, 50K or
40,
less.
50. Yeah.
You
what I'm
know,
saying. If they're doing that, then move every 2 years. Take your 250 to 500,000 tax-free money, and at least do that kind of real estate investing and live in a nice place, and just keep, you know, reinvesting the funds into your, you know, living situation, or put half of it in your living situation, put the other half in rentals.
It helps you to clean house too, doing that.
It does. You gotta
you don't hold on to clutter.
You won't hold on to clutter. That's for sure, because that's more you got to lug.
True. All right. What other questions do you have? Because I know that we're coming up at 7 minutes until, you know, the hour is up, isn't it? It went pretty fast.
We've gone till
We're like you, we'll go on.
9:30. We're on calls with people from all over the world, and one we were on until I think 9:30 with our accountability coach that has his own contracting business in Florida. So
Oh, wow.
we've sat on hours and hours, because we like to make sure everybody's questions get answered.
Yeah.
So
Plus, we're like you.
will
We
tell
love
you
it. So we
this.
just keep talking.
You guys are going to have multiple companies in the future. And for new people that haven't figured out an LLC yet, I really would like for you to have an LLC that is like ABC Services LLC or XYZ Services LLC, because remember, you don't know which aspect of real estate you're going to fall into. And this whole naming your LLC, your name, remember, it's a limited liability company. Why are you going to put your name on a limited liability company? It's supposed to limit your liability.
yeah.
Okay? So stop doing that. That's your ego talking, number one. And then the whole thing of, you know, luxury property, A-class, whatever, LLC. Do you want to just put a target on your head right there? Just big target right there for the attorney to take your case, you know, pro bono? I mean, come on. So remember, this is a limited liability company, and some ABC Services or XY, whatever the initials of your kids or whatever it is. I mean, that service company could be cleaning toilets for people for all they know. And it doesn't need to sound like it has like $1 million of assets in it, because you're just setting yourself up for problems.
Yes.
So I will tell you that.
So,
And then you will end up having your own property management company, your own like marketing company, maybe a trustee company, maybe a rehab company. So there's all kinds of different facets you're going to end up having, and just having the word services in the first one is a good way to branch.
Speaking of liabilities, somebody had mentioned you're buying the supplies for contractors to do work on your property. They get hurt, it's your responsibility because they became your employee. Have you heard this or a fear of being sued by it?
I mean, you're signing a 1099, W-9
Yeah.
relationship with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're issuing work orders as if you're a customer.
Yep.
I mean, what employee is issued like a work, you know what I mean? Like work orders at different houses with different people.
You get a W-2 also.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends on what you're doing and how you're, structuring it. But I mean, we buy supplies like HVAC systems over at the HVAC system warehouse, but the contractor will call it in and tell them what it is they need or whatever. And so we'll, accounting will pretty much call and pay for that. But then they'll pick it up and they'll deliver it, to a multitude of different people. But we also use, like, using contractors in the group. They've done work for you. They've done work for Billy on the road. They've done, you know what I mean? So I don't think they would be your employee unless you were taking their funds and negotiating the prices with the other, customers, with them.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Well,
I like to know how much they're spending on supplies,
Yeah, we see too, because we'll see what's going on there, but we also have specific supplies that they need to be purchasing. So they're told, X, Y, and Z, but as for the fittings of plumbing, like, I don't know, that's their part that they need to know. But as for, the type of ceiling fans we get for make readies and the type of paint that we get, because we do get 5-gallon buckets of paint for like $40 a 5-gallon bucket versus $150 a 5-gallon bucket at Home Depot. Whenever we get that kind of stuff, we tell them what kind it is, and then they'll go get it. And the pro desk there knows us and how we do things and our text to confirm. But yeah, I mean, they are charging their labor just like anybody else.
Yeah. The material shouldn't matter where it comes from, whether it's through them or through you. Because
or if they're sitting on the job site.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was going to ask you, because I know you were talking about multiple companies. How many companies do you have? Because we know you are involved in different areas of real estate.
Well, if I were to answer that question, I'd have to kill you, but.
Well, I mean, you probably have one for.
I will say this. I have multiple companies. The ones that are, mainly in the public eye I've got a property management company. So I do property management for our own stuff as well as other things for the general public. I don't do it for the general public. We only do it for people that actually buy properties through us and everything from the brokerage standpoint. So we do have a brokerage company, which is just sales and purchasing and stuff. And of course, if those people are from out of state, then, I'll do the property management for them, but they're welcome to go and use whoever they want to use. I'm not the cheapest by any means. And I tell them you can go find somebody else, at a lower price, but just be careful, right?
Yeah, what'd you pay for? See, I always say,
Well,
skilled labor isn't cheap. Cheap labor isn't skilled.
Well, what they end up doing is they'll charge, like, let's say 6 or 7% on the management fee, and then they will just take them for a ride on a $5,000 bathroom reno.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're
$5,000 for a bathroom?
Well, in a rental, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a $1,000 toilet change out. I saw $1,000, like cleaning thingy. I was like, dang, I'm like, I can't believe these people are paying this,
No way. I can change a toilet. Toilet costs $65.
But
And
of course, you can easily talk to management companies to find out what the cost is and what their hourly rate is, because all of our service providers are between, I would say $20 to $35 an hour. And so whatever their skill set is will always be within those parameters. And then, over a certain amount, we talk with them to find out if they want to use these people, or if they want to use somebody else. But I'm pretty frugal, because I'm using the same people on mine, and I know what the numbers should be. And so they should be giving the same numbers to everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, they upcharge certain people, especially people who don't know or have a clue. And
But then we
I
have
find that
a
wrong. But
lending company. We got all these, different companies. So
yeah,
just
well,
to
that's what I meant.
play around in.
Like, that's what I meant. Like, you have a property management company, you have the marketing company, you have your purchasing company that does purchase single families. Do you have a separate company for like larger that you use for like multifamilies or apartments, say, or do you still use that one company?
No, depending on which one and what partners are involved, a new LLC could be formed, because the lenders have comfort in that, because it doesn't come with any baggage or any liabilities from anything previous, right? So sometimes a lender wants a clean LLC to be formed for a new apartment complex or something. So you'll do it in that fast, that way. You could have properties that are in trusts, so you could do it that way as well. It just depends mainly on the lenders, for the most part, how they want things titled in order to give you that kind of money. But most of them are going to want an LLC, a brand new LLC, to give you money on something large like an apartment complex.
Right. Yeah.
So you name each one of them separately on the larger stuff.
Yeah. Well, even on the small stuff, you could be like 123 Main Street LLC and have your one LLC as the member of it.
Yeah.
Or do
Yeah,
you put
you
your
can
name
structure
in
them
there?
all as like pass-throughs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Obviously there's a million and one ways to, title things, but I would say definitely everyone needs to learn about trusts, because remember, you want to be a trust fund baby, right? So follow what the wealthy people do and learn about that. Learn about the, irrevocable trust, learn about the land trust, grantee trusts and stuff. So you're going to want to learn those structures. And then definitely your LLC, just don't put your name on it, and don't call it Daddy Warbucks LLC. And that, you're just asking to get sued.
That's funny. So let me ask this, because I don't remember, maybe you said it at the beginning, but how can people get a hold of you or reach out to you if they have questions or want to connect with you?
Well,
There's
on my
number
name
right
there is my actual cell number. I don't know if you guys can see it, but
No, it's not showing the whole thing.
it's not showing the whole
Yes, it
thing.
is. Put your glasses on, honey.
Is the
From
whole
where
thing
I'm at, it's not. It cuts off the left.
But you guys can text me. It's 352-226-3535, and I'll put it inside the chat too. But 352-226-3535. Just text me and we can connect and exchange emails and all that kind of stuff. But we'll chit chat. I'm a human being. I'm not some person that's unreachable. I'm here. I'm in the game with you. I'm doing what you're doing. I just happen to have gotten up to 500 units and found my passion at a very young age. I'm very into cooperative business. I give my time, and we have a meeting where we meet 3 times a week: Tuesday at noon, Tuesday at 7, and then 7 o'clock here at Wednesday as well. So 3 times a week, I just, do free coaching with the team. The team is on the call here right now: Adina, Curtis, Patrick. We're here, we facilitate that, and we just give our time and answer questions, because I know whenever you guys start getting into this and things start moving, you have lots of questions.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes you want to just, be around somebody that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm evicting someone for the first time. I remember what that was like. I remember not being able to sleep at night because, you're evicting someone, you don't know how you're going to pay that mortgage payment. Like, I remember that kind of stuff. And so even if you don't have a solution, you have people to back you up to be like, yeah, remember, this is a game you're playing, right? So it's like the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the time you want to win, but get, 20%, it's going to suck. So just understand, and you get better and better as time goes on. And if you can learn from other people, that, 20% little, folly can actually get a lot lower, and you can do things a lot safer, or at least be able to maneuver out of things or get things situated to where you come out of it whole again. Remember, this is a game. This isn't you. You're going to play it as well as you can. Don't get all serious, because people sometimes get way too serious when the stuff goes down. I know it's stressful and things when you run into some kind of situation, like right now, if tenants can't pay rent because of COVID and you can't, evict people because there's pauses all over the place. There are solutions for that. Okay.
You have something
Yeah.
like we do where the state is helping the tenants pay rent down there?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, or we just liquidate, we just sell it. The market's hot, hot, hot. And I'm like, all right, well, this person hasn't paid in like a year. We don't know when this thing's going to end. Like, let's go ahead and just sell it and let them deal with it. And then we take that money and go reinvest it in something else.
Right.
And they're like, I only want Section 8 tenants at that point, or I
Yeah,
only
yeah, because it's government.
Social Security tenants at that point. So, I mean, everyone's got, different ways to handle things, and you just, you're going to pivot and you're going to, do what's a good business decision and make those, difficult and strong choices if you need to.
Right. Matt had a question or statement. I think it's more of a question. He said, what are your thoughts on iBuyers in the market, Zillow offers, Open Door, etc.?
Love it. More the merrier, in my opinion. But here's the key. I don't know if y'all have dealt with these people, but they kick out of their contracts like dirty underwear. Okay. They're like, yeah, we'll buy it for cash, whatever. We contract with them. And our team is contracted with them probably, I don't know, 5 times or something. And every single time they end up kicking out. One of them said, because there's a Dollar General down the street. I was like, what kind of reasoning is that? But I'm like, whatever. I think they're just like doing, throwing things out there all over the place. And but I mean, if anyone can transact real estate and people are going to play and people are going to make money, don't get me wrong. I bought some of those houses. I've gotten into properties with other people with those, companies and stuff. You just have to make sure they're really going to buy from you, or if they're sellers, make sure you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
But, we all know that tech is going to be taking over. So at some point in time, we'll be able to just go to the bank and buy a house in 3 days because they're going to know all your financials.
That would work. I mean, back when, because you mentioned Carlton sheets and cassette tapes, in the early 90s, you actually used to just call the bank and buy the foreclosures right at the bank.
Nice.
In days, because I did it.
When this all remember, 9 million people, over 9 million people in forbearance right now. Okay.
Yeah.
We got a GDP that's at 125% right now. It's craziness. Like, it's going to be fun. Just make sure you're prepared for it. Make sure you have your relationships and the cash and the credit lines ready, because all the wealthy real estate people are getting prepared and lining everything up, because it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
We have people, I guess there's people that are, I don't know, they're in denial about what's going to happen once the moratorium ends and things start falling into place.
Yep.
This is, it's going to be pretty bad for a lot of people. 2008, 9. Yeah. It may not be as bad, but it's going to be a lot.
We just have more money than we did back then.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no reason.
But remember, even if someone can't do it, if someone comes to me and says, hey, I'm in forbearance and I can't qualify anymore because I still don't have a job, then I'm like, okay, great. We're going to either put your house up on the market or we're going to lease option it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
$3,000 to bring my mortgage current, you can move into it and I'm moving across the street.
Yep. And that's
plenty of different, we love help. That's the thing. If you don't always look to make money and you look to solve the problem, the money seems to follow.
Yeah.
It seems to happen. So that's what we've come in with other homeowners and just like, okay, look, we could come in, we'll help you at minimal amount, and made a big profit.
I've even offered to
got what they needed
with them, because I said, look, I can show you how to do this. We'll do this together. And they're like, no, I don't want the process server to come to my house anymore. I just went out.
Right.
And I'm okay. Because I can go to bed at night because I offered it and to
Yeah.
tell them what to do and everything. But if they want to do that and go to another house, I'm pretty much taking their down payment money and using it to go reinstate their loan anyway. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of weird, what people's choices, but when they're in a bind and they're not used to being under stress or pressure, I get it. Sometimes you just want to tie things up and have someone else handle it. I get it.
Just, I'm done.
Yeah. Some people
There's
don't.
a lot of those. I'm just done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some people
And
like
that's
that, and some
fine.
people don't know they have options. And
Yeah,
that's
and
part of it.
that's like everyone's learning here to be able to help those individuals because it'll be a win-win for both of you. Yeah.
It's
And
just-
that's a great way to actually get started, is helping a homeowner that needs to get out of somewhere.
True.
yeah, and it's
Do we have any other questions? I just wanted to see if
Right.
we're good with making sure everyone got their questions answered.
I don't.
I
Oh,
think-
where do you get $40 for 5 gallons of good paint?
Home Depot is where we get it from. Glidden.
Oh, you
And
get Glidden?
Oh,
The Glidden rep, and the Glidden rep, we get accessible beige, which is, and mindful gray, which is a Sherwin-Williams color coding.
Mhm.
And then we have them tint it, to those colors. And even if we're doing kills, we'll have them tint the kills to be tan or gray, depending on what we're doing. That way,
I didn't think about that.
What's that?
Like when,
Tinting kills.
yeah, tinting
I
the
didn't think about
kills
that
when
either.
we
That's a good
had,
point. As soon as you said that, I was like, tinting kills. Didn't think
especially
about that.
like doing like the dark wood stuff
Yeah.
that
you got it.
people live with.
It
Oh, I
just
love you.
helps
See,
with the
I
coverage.
told you. I knew I loved you for a reason.
That's not the only reason, but
It's not the only one, but
So I have been guilty, and I showed my husband opened the garage once, and there were like 3 pallets of like paint because I had gotten 5-gallon buckets for $5 a piece. Okay.
yeah, it's a good deal if you when you
So
got
remember,
properties.
yeah, because I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and give them to all the hobby millionaires in the group. So literally, I'm like going to meetings and stuff, and I'm like, y'all need some paint because I got some here.
I got you back.
And I got a Mercedes, right? And so I had all this. My husband's like, what are you doing with all this? I'm like, hey, I go, paint makes a big deal with all of us, okay? But understand this too. You can get oops paint, and if it's the same kind, you can put it into a trash can and you can stir it up and you can paint a whole house and get like the $5, oops paint. And that's another way to save money if you're doing that. But when we started getting it consistently at $40 a 5-gallon bucket, with the rep that's over there, that's it. Please use that.
That's
Don't have
good.
to go hunting for
Yeah.
the oops paint all the way and trying to mix up hot pink with green and, hey, it all turns brown in the end, all right?
We've done that where we've actually missed different
You
companies.
got it. It all turns brown. You just
Yeah.
keep adding white paint to get it to whatever, color you want it to be.
Yeah. You do what you have to.
Oh yeah. Oh. I wanted to ask 2 things. One, because you always says like, do you have anything else? Have you ever read any of Robert Sheeman's book? Because
No
I
clue.
love talking to that guy.
I don't know who he is.
Robert Sheeman is Why Is That Idiot Rich and I'm Not? It's my favorite book. It's the second book I actually finished cover to cover.
I'll have to read that one. Yeah, I
and
haven't. I've been so busy with this 100 house package that we did and real estate stuff. I can barely, have time to, read a normal magazine or something.
Yeah.
I haven't. I think I get 2 pages, but I'm doing my best at night to actually go into bed at a certain hour, which doesn't seem to work a lot, but I do my best to get in there and read at least 5 pages, before I fall asleep. So, and
I
second,
watch YouTube videos whenever I'm going to sleep and stuff on different topics, whether it's tax, trusts, accounting, property management, managing people, all that kind of stuff, all the personal growth things.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wish I could read more. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read those instead of watching the YouTube. I'm actually reading like the books, like we're the
I'm just
one
too lazy
writing
to
a charter and doing different stuff, attempting it. The other thing is that you mentioned your why.
Yes.
Do you have your why written down?
I think I do have it probably in my gratitude book that I have from The Secret. You remember that movie? So I have one of those, but yeah, I mean, I've always known it. People have asked me that all the time, and it's to do my best on this planet to, eliminate suffering financially. I mean, it's something so simple, and I don't know how any human that is in a W-2 is going to get out of the rat race without doing this.
They're not going to.
No.
I know, and that's my thing, and that's why instead of me just making money with rich friends or just high net worth people, I really like to give my time to people that haven't started yet to help them get to 5.
Right. The one thing that I wanted to find out is, how did you find the money to get your first deal?
I didn't have any. It was a credit card, remember? Got the M&Ms, got a credit card. I went and I told the seller, I can't destroy this house anymore. You know what I mean? And so I painted it and cleaned it myself using that credit card.
And it was seller finance, right?
And I was working at $4.25 an hour, being a listing agent.
Now you're aging yourself.
I was making a whopping $4, guys. And then on top of that, I was trying, like, the maintenance guys that live there, because I mean, a ceiling fan, that to me back in the day was like, that's electricity. I could like kill myself changing a ceiling fan. So I would negotiate with them. I'm like, hey, can I buy you a 6-pack and you like change the ceiling fan for me? So I would offer them some side work, but I was, paying just like $20 and, just a little side work stuff, because I knew that they were getting paid like, $15 an hour. So I would ask them to come do things for like 25, stuff like that.
Hey, a 6-pack went a long way back in the day.
Yeah,
You could get a lot done with a 6-pack. I got a sub pump put in for a 12-pack.
I tell you,
I drank 3 of them.
So that's what I was going to ask you was, when you're trying to find that's basically how you get like a handyman. Instead of getting a licensed contractor, when you need some things done, you find a contractor that's willing to work on the side for a cheaper rate.
No, licensed contractors, they'll work for the same kind of rates that you have. I mean, they're a little bit more, but you just tell them to fit you in between their normal retail clients, right? So that way they never have any downtime, and they're still, making money, and they always have consistent work. And what ends up happening is that the licensed trade normally sends one of their helpers out that they have on their crew or whatever with the trucks and everything. Because I mean, honestly, does the licensed guy really need to totally come out when they're doing a sewer backup? I mean, they're shoving the snake down the hole with a cutter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it just depends on how you're doing it, but you can find the trades that are licensed to do the flat rates that you're looking for. Like HVAC systems, we get them installed between $1,350 to $1,500 installed. And then you can buy the equipment for about $2,000. So we're paying what, $3,500 or less for HVAC, swap outs and stuff, versus people paying $7,000. Just remember this. I also repositioned apartment complexes and luxury apartment complexes too. And the budgets on a luxury apartment complex, I want you to understand, the maintenance supervisor there today probably gets paid $20 to $25 an hour, and the maintenance guys are getting paid between 15 to 20. Okay. Right. So those guys, if they're rolling around on their, golf carts and everything, you can give them your card, ask them if they want to do side work on the weekends when they're not working. And they might be open to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Didn't think of that.
That apartment complexes are not changing out AC systems for $7,000 a pop.
Right. No.
They have to feed their families too. So
yes, they do.
Side work always works best. So is there any other questions? You guys can unmute and ask if you would like, if you're bashful and don't want to type. Or because you're afraid you want to type. No, or because you might misspell it, so, but ask your questions before we hop off. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Okay, no more questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us and our group and everything, and, our team too. And I love, being able to connect and chat with you guys that are over in different states too. You're more than welcome to contact me. Like I said, my phone number is 352 636-3535. Just text me, text a smiley face in your name. We'll connect, we'll chit chat, see what you're up to, what you're doing, or if you have questions, I can hopefully, answer them for you. And it's one of those things too, kind of always remember your network is your net worth, right?
Right.
So you're
Absolutely.
going to learn, you're going to connect, you're going to utilize everyone, and don't be bashful with trying to connect everyone and asking for referrals and stuff, because you also want to be that go-to person where you have a Rolodex
Mhm.
or a cell phone full of people that you can refer out, right? She'll
Oh,
make
yeah.
Yeah.
the Rolodex.
And that's what I always
So-
tell people, build your relationships.
Absolutely.
That's what's key in this business, building your relationship. It's key in anything, but especially in real estate.
So your final thought for the day, Bonnie?
I would say, guys, don't hide under a rock. Get it done. Go out there and look at some properties. Remember, if you're at least going out there looking at things this weekend, go to some open houses or look on, Craigslist or look on Redfin, look online at Zillow. Just start looking at things. Start looking at things that are 100,000 per unit and below, including multifamily. Look for things that are 100, per unit and below, and kind of look, start looking at those numbers. But the more you guys touch, feel it, see it, remember, you're also not the average person, because who's on a real estate call, at 9 o'clock at night, chit chatting about real estate? Okay. You're a very unique individual. And for you to do that, you are literally in like a very, very small percentage of the population. So I commend you for doing that, and keep coming to your real estate meetings, keep supporting everyone, keep, learning. And buy real estate, guys. Just get it done. Get your 5. I want everyone to have their 5.
Cool.
That works for me. The other one, I didn't hear you mention estate sales.
Yep.
We went to an estate sale the other day, because this is what we do. Because I'm not looking to buy your stuff. I'm looking to buy the house.
Yeah.
But we actually found out that they were moving to the area that we want to start buying rental properties in, and he wants a boss. He just wants to manage stuff. He doesn't want to be the boss anymore. He sold his business and just wants to go. So you never know what you'll find at those places either.
Not at all. I mean, it's great because estate, properties and stuff, a lot of time they just want to sell stuff and divvy it up. They don't want to deal with it. And yeah, they're great. They're a great way to find things. But like I said, knock on your code enforcement door. Those are really good too. Anything that's got a code enforcement violation on it. Sometimes those people are kind of, motivated. Maybe they don't have enough money to fix something, but you can, find some gems on that list too.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. There's
All
many options out there.
Many.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Bonnie,
sure we've
for coming
taken
on,
your time.
and thank your team for attending. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you all
No
very
problem.
much.
Thank you for having us.
We'll
See
have
you
to jump
later.
on your call
Bye,
again soon.
everybody. It was nice
Thank
meeting
you.
everybody.
Where's Harold? Harold Matthews, do not leave.
He's still there, but I don't know if he's paying
Yes,
attention.
he better pay attention. Harold Matthews, we haven't talked to you or seen you in a couple of years, and we want to see you. Can you please hop on?
There he is.
I'm here.
Hey, Harold.
Hi! Oh, it's so good to finally hear your voice. We were so worried. We couldn't get a hold of you. We've been trying and trying.
Sal called me earlier
Yes.
during the webinar.
What's that?
Sal,
I just
Sal?
called. Oh, Sal.
he called me earlier.
Yeah. I think I called you the other day, but I don't remember.
Show
I
up
guess,
the other day. It should have probably about maybe a month ago. You called me.
Okay.
Got something down here that you wanted to talk about.
We were actually down in your area yesterday.
Yeah, we were down there.
Yeah.
Gloucester.
Sicklerville.
Yep.
Sewell.
Sewell.
However you say that. Sewell.
Sicklerville, Sewell.
Sewell, Washington Township.
Yes, we were down all over there.
Yep.
Okay.
So how have you
So-
been?
I've been doing good.
We haven't
Good.
seen you on anything.
Yeah, well, I backed out for a while, but now I'm back.